All right, so hi everyone. I'm here with my friend Yasmin. Yasmin and I met just a few weeks ago, but she really captivated me. She seems to be living her life total on her own terms, always trusting her gut feeling, sometimes going against what's considered normal or desirable in our society. What stood out to me recently is that she doesn't say a lot of things, but when she does speak, everyone in the whole room seems to be listening in awe. She's got some of the wildest, craziest stories I've ever heard. Yet her resilience and centeredness and the ability to just come back is really rare. She's one of the most captivating people I've met in the last couple of years. She said recently to me that everyone tries to be extraordinary, and right now I just want to be ordinary. So welcome, Yas. So good to see you.
Hi. Thank you.
My very first question is really what you told me recently, how everyone tries to be living this Instagram perfect life, and you somehow feel most sorry for them sometimes. Can you tell why?
I think because I kind of lived that life before. Like I think Instagram is kind of this life reel of your best moments, and no one ever shows like any kind of real like pain or emotion, or it's just kind of just the best moments like put out to the world. And I was definitely like that for a really long time. Like I was always trying to I would like go to places and try to get like Instagram perfect pictures and stuff. And
did you have Instagram?
Yeah, I did. And and like even if it's just trying to show your life to people you know, like not even trying to be like Instagram famous, it's still so unhealthy, you know, because you're just, I don't know, it's just like you're being almost like fake in a way, I think. Yeah. Or not fake, I think like maybe just like disingenuous. And I don't know, and after some crazy shit happened, I just decided, I was like, wow, life is so short. It's so stupid, and why should I go around like posting these pictures pretending like my life is perfect, you know? And I know a lot of people have told me, and even like when I had Instagram and like social media, because right now I really don't have any kind of social media, and when I did have that, I think like a lot of my friends who didn't know me that well, or like who I've like my college friends, they would always be like, you know, we can't, when we would talk or argue or something, they would be like, you know, like we can't all have like a perfect life and like travel all over the world and do things. And I was like, wow, do they really think I have a perfect life? Because I'm really suffering, you know? Yeah. And I don't know, and I just kind of, it's not even that I feel sorry for people who do it, I just kind of feel sorry for who I was when I did it, you know? And it's kind of nice to log on to Facebook and like
and then
see
check
like
your nice pictures.
Yeah, or like even like see people's like nowadays I think there's so much bad that's happening in the world that it's kind of nice to like for people to see people's like 200 unnecessary Jamaica cruise pictures, you know, or like their engagement pictures or something. So it's kind of like nice in a way, and it kind of like, oh, okay, somebody's having a good time, but at the same time I think it's completely unhealthy. And I think that if you have like any mental health issue and you're going through some shit and you log on to social media, or especially Instagram, and you think that all these people are living their perfect lives and like they're so happy, and you're like, wow, I'm so unhappy, what is wrong with me? And I just think it's like a really unhealthy thing.
Yeah, then everybody's caught up in that loop thinking that everyone else is happy.
Yeah.
And you're the only one that's not.
Yeah. And even if you're posting this stuff, like you're still unhappy.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone just kind of like is almost like competing against each other. And I don't know. Like I met this girl recently and she was like, you're like not on any social media. She's like, that's so weird. She's like, you're like a ghost or something. And I was like, honestly, like I've never felt like better with that, you know.
Really?
Like I think before I always really tried to like have this like picture perfect life on the outside, or like really care about what people thought about me. And I think it's just, I don't know, now that I look back and it's just like, wow, that's so stupid. So I don't judge it. I just said that's so stupid, but I just like don't judge people who do it because I've been there. It's just, I just think it's just not a real thing.
Yeah.
And I think it does like, I don't know, it does cause like people to have like body image issues and just like all kinds of issues, and I don't want to participate in that.
What prompted you to delete yourself off of everything?
Caleb dying. I just felt like, first actually I did kind of post some things about it.
About Caleb?
Yeah.
Who
about
is Caleb?
Caleb is my boyfriend who died, who killed himself last year. And I did kind of, I was like, okay, I have kind of like a platform. Like I have like, and I should probably say something about what happened. And I do think like suicide is like something that isn't talked about at all. And I think it's weird. Like, why does no one talk about it? And sometimes I like to just mention it. Like I think at Landmark I just said it. Like I was like, you know, I kind of think about killing myself, and maybe someday, like I'm kind of scared that someday I might actually do it. Because I wanted people to like walk up to me and be like, yeah, like I think about it too, like let's talk about it. And I just think so many people talk about it, like why won't we talk about it? And after he died, I was looking at, he was kind of like a well-known bartender in the city, and people had like announcements of like his death on their social media pages, or like the Dopa page or the Pops page or whatever. And they all were like, let's not talk about the way he died, or I don't know what it said exactly, but I was like, no, let's talk about why he died. Because I think that's what really matters. That's what really matters, is like why he died. It's not like Caleb died in a car accident. It's not like he got cancer at 25 and like died at 30. He killed himself. I think maybe like not talking about it is why so many people feel so alone. And I did kind of use that. Like I was like, okay, I want to talk about this with people, and I want them to know that this happened and that he killed himself. And when somebody's going through stuff, people give them like the suicide hotline line or whatever. And like, who really calls that? Like, people want to talk to their friends and their family and stuff. And so I was like, hey, if anyone wants to talk to me, like, just like talk. I never want that to happen again, and I just want somebody to talk to me about it. Then I realized I just wanted to like live in the present and like not spend my time like focusing on how people saw me.
Yeah,
you know?
The way you live is very different from what society would say normal, and like you just do what makes you happy, and like you don't care what your sisters tell you, what your parents tell you, what your friends tell you. What is it like to live like that?
I mean, it feels good to let go of like all these pressures. And I think when you think about life, you just have to think like, okay, this is my life. This is like the world as we see it, and it could all be gone tomorrow. Or I could like wake up tomorrow and like cross the street and get hit by a car. Like, we just have this small frame, you know? And why hold yourself back, I guess? And I see the way Caleb lived. And he was always working, and he was really successful at what he did, and then he died. And honestly, like, people always think that the hardest part of losing someone to suicide is like feeling blame and guilt and all of that. And yeah, I do feel that sometimes, but that isn't what hurts me. What hurts me is that he never got to enjoy his life.
Wow.
He never just got to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I want and like fuck all these people and be just completely happy. He never got that. He never got like the good side of things. And that's what like hurts me so much, is that he never was able to experience life.
It just gave me chills, literally, because we're all going through life trying to do the right thing, like study hard because our parents want us to, and then like go to school to get the degree.
Yeah.
And then like, oh my God, we need to get a job so that we can actually be independent and get a house and get married to take care of our children. And so when do we actually enjoy life and just do what we want truly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never really. Unless you just kind of...
Is that what you're doing now?
I think so, yeah. Well, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to think of anything. Like, and I know there's so much pressure on me because I'm like a certain age or from like a certain cultural background, but like I just can't live that life. Like, even if I pretended, I just feel I like can't be a fraud. Like, I would just feel like I'm faking things, I guess.
Yeah. So what do you do right now? Like, what's your kind of lifestyle?
My lifestyle is doing whatever I want.
Yeah, like you're going...
I know that sounds like...
Traveling and...
yeah, it's just kind of... Honestly, what it is just living in the next 24 hours. And seeing what happens. So it's like, okay, I have this much money in my bank account. I'm gonna buy a ticket to this place, and like I may not be able to like, you know, actually survive there for more than 2 days, but I'll figure it out in 2 days or like in 24 hours. In 24 hours, they'll see what will happen. Maybe I'll, you know, be a bartender at a hostel. Maybe I'll sell ice cream at the beach. Like, it doesn't, like, I'm not thinking about, I don't know. I feel like so many times, like, people have, like, 5-year plans. And I've heard that so much over my life. Like, what's your 5-year plan? And, like, yeah, I did the whole school thing. I did the work thing. And, like, that was always a question. And I was like, I don't fucking know. Like...
Oh my God.
Like, that's my answer totally now. Is like, I don't know. Like,
I have like my 10 and 20-year plan.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, I'm totally that
man.
person.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't even have my 48-hour plan, so it's like still
amazing.
So it's still kind of weird for me to, but it's also like weird for me to think like that, you know, because it's like still.
It's
because I used to think. I mean, up until like almost when Caleb died, it was like November. So before that, I had to think of things in a bigger perspective. Like, I was like, okay, I want to have kids, and like, we should move to this place, or this, we should do this, and like
Right.
blah blah blah. And like I did actually really care about things. And I think maybe people might think like I'm like this way because I'm depressed, but actually I'm like that's not it. It's just that I feel like life is so short. Why not?
Yeah, your whole priorities and the view of life changed
Yeah.
when you
for
realized
sure.
how precious it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it always works out, huh?
Yeah, I think it. Oh, I think when you live like that, and I have in the past, like I have had moments where I just kind of gave up, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go travel for a while and see what happens, and it kind of just like everything happens for a reason, and it just kind of like leads you to the next thing, and you end up having so much more fun than if you planned it. So yeah, I don't know.
Can you tell us a little more about your? I know you went to Peru, and you did ayahuasca. So first of all, why did you go, and how was your experience?
So the reason, I guess the reason why I went was because I was having a really hard time after I was mourning Caleb, and I didn't know how to mourn him. And one of my friends came over a few months, like maybe like 2 months after he died, and I was just in this like place where I was so heartbroken that I couldn't move. Like I literally could not move. Like I was just paralyzed in my sadness. And he was like, hey, I really want you to try something, and like put your jacket on, like let's just trust me on this. And I was like, I don't know, you know, but it was DMT, which is like the short version of ayahuasca. And when we smoked it, and it lasted for about 15 minutes. And apparently I told him like, wow, this is so beautiful. I wish I could take a picture of it. And he was like, I know. He was like, I know, that's how it feels. And like, I don't know, I just like saw life from like this whole other perspective, I guess. Like I was like, wow, there are other dimensions, I guess, that you really can't see, and that are there, you just can't see it.
In what way did it appear? Can you even describe?
Like we're sitting on a rooftop in San Francisco, and all the buildings it was the same place.
Yeah.
And like people didn't look differently, like everyone looked the same, but at the same time, like all the houses looked different, and like the sky looked different. Like it was almost like in this like 4D worlds. I don't know how to describe it. And also like sounds were different. Like I could hear hummingbirds for some reason. So then actually one of my friends did ayahuasca, and he told me about it, and he was like, yeah, it's like you need to do ayahuasca. You're gonna just look at things differently. Someone told me of this place called the Temple of the Way of the Light in Peru, and I was like, had it in the back of my mind. And I believe in signs completely. Like I honestly think like nothing is a coincidence, and like everyone you meet is in your life for a reason. And I don't know, maybe I'm a hippie, but I honestly think that. But so I ran into this girl that I hadn't seen since Burning Man, my first burn, and she's like, how are you? Are you okay? Like after what happened? And I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about doing ayahuasca in Peru. And she was like, yeah, I heard of this place called the Temple of the Way of Light. And I was like, shit, that's a sign. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's where I need to go. So then I went home, and I was like, click, and filled out some paperwork, and then yeah, ended up going.
Yeah, so how was it?
I don't know. You know, it's like a weird. I feel like everyone describes ayahuasca. So before I went, I had my DMT experience, and I kind of wanted to like know more about ayahuasca. So I did read about it, and everybody kind of described it in this way, like it's like this mother. It's like a feminine thing, or they were like, and then she came to me, and it was like so much hippie so that like I was like this is really turning me off from it. Like I don't know what these people are talking about.
Yeah.
I was just not sold on it, and just a skeptic in every way. And I even said that a few times at the beginning when we first got there, and it was nothing like I thought it would be, but it was even better than that. Like it was like everything that, I guess it was nothing that I wanted it to be, but it was everything that I needed it to be. And like that's what I think ayahuasca is like it it's like about someone, like when I was there, like one of the yoga teachers was like, you know, ayahuasca is just self-love. And I was like after like doing ayahuasca like 7 times, I was like, fuck, it is kind of just self-love. Yeah, so I did it 7 times, and every time was completely different. And you like I don't know how to, you don't really know what to, you kind of just have to surrender. Like it's one of those things when you're drinking. First, when you drink it, it's so disgusting.
What does it taste like?
It kind of tastes, the first time you take it, it kind of tastes okay. Like it still tastes disgusting, but it's like, tastes like earth or something. And then after that, it gets worse and worse. And because you purge every single time, or usually you purge. And
you purge not because it's so gross, right?
No, so you don't purge because it's like a disgusting thing, or because you drink too much. It's not one of those things. You purge, it's completely, when you purge, it's the nausea and stuff kind of like goes away at the beginning. And when you purge, it's like you're purging from your soul or something, like you're taking out something. And I know that sounds really weird to some people, and they might not believe it, but I didn't believe it. And then I tried it, and it does work. It's like the most like radical, fastest, easiest way to like change. And to me, it kind of felt like at times it felt really comforting, like almost like someone hugging you, like someone like wrapping you in a blanket and hugging you. And then at other times it felt like complete pain, like you were like during one of the ceremonies, I felt like it was really weird. And I was talking about this with other people. When you cry when you're on ayahuasca, and it makes you want to cry a lot, but when you cry, it's almost like you're not crying tears. It's like you're crying like oil, because it's like so slippery. I don't know. And when I would tell people that, I was like, isn't it weird? Like, and they're like, yeah, that was so weird. It's like almost like you're not, like everything that comes out of you is like not from your tear ducts or from your like intestines or from your stomach. It's like from your soul.
Wow.
And other times it was really painful and really hard. There was like one ceremony where I felt all of Caleb's pain. Like I was like, oh, because I wanted to understand. That was my main. So before you go, you have like intentions, and you could change them. They like advise you not to, but like you could change your intentions from ceremony to ceremony. Mine kind of like stuck the same. I didn't really have an intention. My intention was just, okay, I give up show me what I need to know. And I did kind of see everything, or what, I don't know. I kind of wanted to see Caleb, but I didn't really have that interaction. But I did see other things, and I really did feel like every ceremony and before I like went into the first ceremony, the shaman told me, he was like, hey, it's gonna be really hard for you, just so you know, like, and if you need help, or like if you feel like it's too much, like just call out and we'll help you. And I didn't realize, like, and I was like, oh, I'm a badass. I was like, I've done so much, like I've been through so much, I don't care, this isn't gonna be that hard. But it really was hard.
What was the hard part?
It's kind of, it showed me a lot of stuff that I really repressed.
Right.
Like, especially with Caleb, like memories that I didn't want to live, like, through again. And yeah, I did feel his pain. Like, there was one ceremony where I was like, okay, this is not me, this is Caleb. And I felt so sad, and I cried and I cried, but like as soon as you purge, it's the weirdest thing. You feel so sad and so shitty, and sometimes really happy, but the happiness usually comes after you purge.
So it's like a relief, like something negative leaves.
Yeah, it's almost like, this is stupid, but like it's almost like, you know, like an exorcism or something. Like there's like a demon or like a bad energy, and you leave it, and it like comes out of your body, and you're just like, oh my God, why do I feel? And the next day you feel 1,000 times lighter. Wow. And you're like, wow, this is so amazing.
It's incredible.
And you almost feel like a kid again. You're like going back to who you were.
Like nothing is just taken by default. You can actually be surprised and feel curious about everything.
There was, when we would talk about, like, we would have like group shares, and we would all talk about what we went through and stuff, and everybody kind of had this like really elaborate stories, like this happened, and then someone like said something that really stuck with me, and it was like the question was basically like, what did it show you? Because it does show you things, and I think what it is like, it's like a spirit, or like different spirits, and it kind of who you were in past lives. I don't know what ayahuasca is, honestly.
Right.
And I've done it 7 times, and I don't think that anybody knows what it is. I think it's like one of those things that like, and you might not believe in magic, but there is magic.
It's like you don't have to understand how electricity works for you to just turn on the light.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't have to see a black hole to know there is a black hole. But I was completely amazed. But this guy was like, honestly, it just showed me that life is beautiful again. And I was like, yeah, like that's how I felt. It's completely how I felt too. And I don't know, it's not this, I know people have like different ayahuasca experiences, and they're all amazing, and like visions and stuff, but sometimes it's like not a vision, it's just kind of like more of an emotional thing. It's like how you feel.
What was like the most out of the 7 one? What's the one that really stuck to you and you think that gave you a sort of a hope, or like a new way of thinking and viewing your life, maybe?
During the 3rd ceremony, I saw, I guess like my question was, why should I not die? like this world sucks. I don't want to be a part of it. Why should I not kill myself? And I saw, I guess, my future daughter.
Wow.
And that was like really one of the only visions I had.
How did you know that she's your daughter?
So it was the weirdest thing. Because all these people kept describing their visions, like all the people around me. And I was just kept thinking, like, I'm not seeing any visions. Like, I just feel really emotional. And I'm replaying memories that I had. I'm not seeing this vision thing. And then that was like really the only vision I had. And it was so crystal clear. And yeah, anyway, so I was looking at her. It was like almost like looking at a movie. And I was thinking, wow, who is that girl? Why am I looking at this? She's so beautiful. I just kept thinking, like, wow, she's the prettiest person I've ever, like the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, who is she? And then I started noticing, like, and it played for a really long time. Like, my vision played for a long time, and I was just like stuck in this place, and I was just like, wow, but who is she? Who is she? And then like I started to notice like things about her, like her lips were like mine, or like, you know, she kind of looked a little bit like me when I was a baby. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, is that my baby? And the answer was yes. And then,
do you hear the answer?
So sometimes you hear it, and then sometimes it's kind of like a whisper, or sometimes you just know. But like then I asked what, and that one was I just knew. I was like, oh shit, that's my daughter. And then I asked, what's her name? Like just to see if they would give me an answer. And then I saw her name in cursive. Her name is Ava.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I was like,
it's just like literally a movie with just
it's a movie. Yeah. And I was like, what? And it was kind of funny because I was like, I don't even like that name.
Just like not me.
I was like, I don't even want to name my kid Eva. Why is her name Eva? But yeah, her name is Ava, and she's super beautiful, and apparently she's my future baby. So then I didn't know what to do with that information. I was like, but I was completely just in awe, I guess. The next day I was like walking around, and one of the facilitators, like, who did ayahuasca like maybe like 200 plus times, she was like, hey, I have the same, like, this is a really rare thing to happen for somebody to see their future, because usually when you do ayahuasca you see your past. And it's a really rare thing to see your future, and like just try not to like talk about it that much. Like,
we're doing the opposite.
Yeah, but I think she was like talking about like the retreat, like not to like be like, hey guys, I saw my future and I have a beautiful daughter named Eva. And yeah, it was really nice. But she was like, yeah, like it's when people usually see their babies and their visions, it does come true. That does like give me hope when it's like, okay, life is shit. Why should I be a part of this? Why do I need to participate in something? And then I'm like, wait, I'm gonna have a really beautiful, blue-eyed baby one day named Eva.
Quite a good
I'm
reason.
really excited for it.
Yeah, and you told me like that she has blue eyes, but your eyes are not blue.
Yeah, so about that. Yeah, so so as I had the vision, I was like, because her eyes were really blue, like that was her defining feature. She had really dark hair. She looked like me, but with blue eyes.
And then your family, I guess no one has blue
no one has, they have green eyes. But yeah, like I was thinking like, who is the father of this baby? And then it was the weirdest thing. I asked that question, and then I opened my eyes, and like something in my heart told me that the father was in the room. And like, I was like, what do you mean? And I kind of, I don't know, I kind of saw someone, and it was the weirdest thing, because the first 2 ceremonies we were sitting right next to each other. Like, he was sitting right here and I was sitting right here, and then for some weird reason they switched around like the seating chart on the 3rd ceremony when this happened, and they like put him directly across from me.
Oh my god.
And so when I opened my eyes, I saw Sam, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, Sam?
The first person you see after asking that
and
question.
I did feel like the father was in that room, and I don't know if Sam is the father, but like I do feel like he is.
Oh,
and then we fell like madly in love. So
this is an insane story. I can't wait like to
see what
catch
happens.
up. I know you're not on social media, but I'll find you in like 5 years. That's your 5-year plan.
A baby.
Yeah.
With Sam.
Wow, that's so cool.
That'd be amazing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories. It's been quite a journey. I know you have so many more just from a few times that we've spoken. But thanks for being authentic and open about sharing everything with me tonight.
Thanks.
Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.